They only needed one lie to save a child. But the most advanced ship in the sector had a truth scanner older than empires. And it had never been wrong, until the day it met a human who didn't think like a machine. Rain and engine steam mixed above dock spiral 12, turning the air into cold metal fog. Mara Vance moved through it with a tool bag on her shoulder and a bruise-purple sky above her head. She wasn't looking for trouble. Trouble always found her anyway. She was human, which meant everyone stared. Some with curiosity. Most with the kind of careful fear people saved for predators. Mara reached the lowest corridor of the station, where lights flickered, pipes sweated, and hope came to die. A small tavern sat there like a rusted tooth. She went in for heat and silence. The room smelled like bitter tea and cheap fuel. Dock workers kept their heads down. A wall screen muttered alien news in a language Mara didn't speak. She chose a corner seat, pulled out a cracked notebook, and started sketching a ship logic diagram, because thinking kept her from remembering the things she couldn't fix. A shadow stopped at her table. A child's shadow. Mara looked up. The girl was small, maybe 8, smooth teal skin with pale silver freckles, eyes like warm amber glass. Aurelin, Mara thought. Rare this far down. Her clothes were too clean for the docks, but too plain for the upper decks. The girl slid into the seat across from Mara without asking. She placed both hands on the table like a tiny officer. I need you, the girl said, voice steady, to be my father. Mara didn't laugh. Not because it wasn't ridiculous. Because the child's face wasn't joking. Mara leaned back slowly. Wrong species. Wrong job. I calculated 17 options, the girl replied. You are the best one. Mara stared. You calculated. The girl nodded once. My name is Kiri. I need a father for a short time. A few minutes. Long enough to pass family boarding. Mara's brain caught on one word. Boarding what? Kiri's eyes flicked toward the ceiling, as if she could see through layers of station steel and cloud. The crown ship Vigilant Dawn, she said. Mara's throat went dry. Everyone in the sector had heard of it. A floating palace with gardens inside the hull. Medical bays that could rebuild organs like replacing wires. Security systems that could read a heartbeat and know whether it lied. Mara lowered her voice. Kids don't board the Vigilant Dawn. I am not kids. I am dying. Kiri said it the way someone said, it is raining. Mara felt the air shift in her lungs. Kiri lifted a wrist. A thin bracelet glowed faintly, pulsing wrong, too slow, then too fast, then slow again. Lumen rot, she said. My light is going out. My mother has searched everywhere. Only the crown ship carries the cure. Mara swallowed. And your father? Kiri didn't look away. Dead. Before I was born. Mara exhaled. Careful. Then they won't let you in. They will, Kiri said, if you are my father. That's insane. That is law, Kiri replied. Family-only boarding in royal space. Mother, father, child. They scan for a triad pattern. Not blood. Pattern. Mara's pencil paused over her notebook. Pattern. Kiri nodded. 3 lives, linked. The ship recognizes bonds. It is ancient technology. Nobody fully understands it. Mara tapped the table once. So you want me to act like your dad? For a few minutes. Against a ship that reads lies. Kiri's amber eyes brightened. Humans break patterns, she said softly. You do not behave like expected variables. That should have sounded like an insult. Instead, it sounded like a prayer. Before Mara could answer, the tavern door slammed open. A woman entered like a storm given a body. Aurelin, tall, teal skin like Kiri's but darker, hair shaved on one side and braided on the other. Her jacket was dock grade, burned at the elbow, patched with old embassy cloth. Her eyes found Kiri. Kiri. The woman's voice held fury and fear braided together. I told you to stay on the skiff. Kiri didn't flinch. I stayed close. The woman's gaze cut to Mara. Instant suspicion. Who are you? She demanded. Kiri answered before Mara could. My father. Mara choked on air. No. The woman's hands clenched. Kiri. Stop it. Kiri's voice remained calm. Mother, our time window is closing. The woman froze at that, just for half a breath. Mara saw it, the crack in her armor. Kiri continued, gentle but relentless. My condition worsened this morning. You saw the pulse drop. You tried to hide it from me. The woman's jaw tightened. Then she looked at Mara again, eyes sharp. My name is Sarah, she said. And if you're here to exploit us, I will put you through that wall. Mara lifted both palms slowly. I'm not here to exploit anyone. I came for heat. Then your daughter hired me as her father. Sarah's stare narrowed. Humans don't do anything for free. Mara's mouth opened, but the real answer was too ugly. So she gave the honest one. I used to build rescue rigs, Mara said. Real ones. The kind that pull people out of impossible places. Then I watched a system decide some lives weren't worth saving. I hated myself for obeying it. Sarah blinked, caught off guard. Mara nodded toward Kiri's bracelet. I don't know your kid, but I recognize that look. The look of someone pretending they aren't scared. Kiri said quietly, I am scared. The words were small. They hit Mara harder than any shout. Sarah's shoulders sagged a fraction, like gravity increased. Even if I believed you, she said, the crown ship will detect the lie. Kiri leaned forward. Not if we make it true. Mara frowned. Make it true. Kiri nodded. Bond is not only blood. It is commitment. Choice. Action. If you protect me, the ship may register you as my father in pattern space. Sarah's eyes widened, then hardened again. That's hope. Not science. Kiri's gaze didn't waver. Hope is a strategy when options are dying. Mara felt something stir inside her, an old part that used to run toward burning metal instead of away from it. She looked at Sarah. If we try, Mara said, what's the worst that happens? Sarah answered instantly. We get arrested. Or executed. Or the Regent's hunters find us first. The Regent? Mara asked. Sarah's voice turned bitter. Vol. He rules while the Queen sleeps. He exiled me. He wants Kiri gone, because she is proof his rule is theft. Kiri added, flat and precise, if I die, my mother loses her last claim. Vol's power becomes permanent. Mara stared at the child. At the way she spoke about her own death like a report. At the way Sarah held herself like a shield made of pain. Mara's notebook lay open under her hand. Lines and arrows. Broken systems. She thought of how humans survived on broken planets with broken tools. By improvising. By refusing to accept the correct outcome. Mara stood up. Okay, she said. I'll do it. Sarah's eyes widened. You don't understand what you're stepping into. Mara grabbed her tool bag and slung it over her shoulder. I understand enough, she said. A kid's running out of time. And the galaxy expects humans to be selfish. She looked at Kiri. Let's disappoint the galaxy. Kiri's lips twitched. Not quite a smile. Agreed, she said. Father. Sarah's expression tightened. Do not call her that. Kiri tilted her head. But you will need to get used to it. Mara sighed. Fine. Ground rules. We keep it simple. No long speeches. No dramatic lying. We behave like a family that belongs. Kiri nodded. I have prepared a complete identity set. Names, meeting history, shared memories, emotional cues. Mara blinked. You prepared. Kiri lifted a small data strip. Also, I studied human family interaction patterns for 2 weeks. Your species uses touch often. Hand-holding increases bond signal probability. Mara looked at Sarah. Your kid is terrifying. Sarah muttered, I know. They left the tavern together into the wet corridor. Above them, hidden behind storm layers and security fields, the vigilant dawn waited. A ship that had never been fooled. Mara took Kiri's small hand. Kiri squeezed back like she meant it. And for the first time in a long time, Mara felt her life point toward something that mattered. Not scrap. Not survival. A rescue. The crown ship's boarding platform was a city of polished stone and living light. Families moved in flowing lines, rich fabrics whispering against the floor. Everyone looked like they belonged. Mara, Sarah, and Kiri stepped out of a dock shuttle that smelled like old oil. Mara's boots squeaked against the clean surface. Whispers followed them instantly. Human. Exile. Child. Kiri pressed closer to Mara's side, not from fear, more like a soldier aligning with cover. Remember, Kiri murmured, we are calm. Calm looks innocent. Mara nodded. And if they ask questions? Kiri said, we answer with certainty. Certainty is half of truth. They reached the triad gate, 3 archways braided into one. A soft hum filled the air, like a choir made of machines. A tall royal official waited behind a desk of glass metal. His eyes were pale and cold. Family designation, he said. Sarah lifted her chin. House Aurelin. Sarah of the old line. The official's hands froze for a heartbeat. Recognition flickered, then fear. You are not permitted. Kiri stepped forward, voice sweet and steady. We are a complete family. We request triad recognition. The official's mouth tightened. Triad scan will verify. Mara swallowed and tried to remember how to breathe normally. 3 thin beams of light slid out of the archways. One touched Sarah's chest. One touched Kiri's forehead. One touched Mara's wrist. The beams pulsed, tasting skin, heartbeat, electrical patterns under the surface. Mara felt the ship's attention like a hand inside her ribs. A soft voice echoed from the gate itself, ancient, calm, not quite language. Triad. Incomplete. Sarah's face went pale. The official's eyes sharpened. As expected. Kiri didn't move. She only tightened her grip on Mara's hand. Again, Kiri said quietly. The official scoffed. There is no. Mara stepped forward. Not with anger. With something worse. Human stubbornness. Run it again, Mara said. The scanner glitched. The official stared. It does not glitch. Mara met his gaze. Everything glitches eventually. The official hesitated, just long enough for Kiri to exploit it. Kiri tilted her head and let her eyes shine with controlled panic. Please, she whispered. My father is here. I can feel it. I can't breathe when you call us incomplete. People nearby turned. A few families slowed. Public attention was a weapon. Humans knew that. Kiri had learned it. The official's jaw tightened. He didn't want a scene on the crown ship platform. Fine, he snapped. One more scan. For show. The beams returned. This time, Mara did something she didn't plan. She focused on Kiri, really focused. Not on the lie. On the choice. If they hurt her, I will stop them. If she falls, I will carry her. If the galaxy says no, I will say yes louder. Heat rose in Mara's wrist where the beam touched. A strange warmth, like a current waking up. Kiri's bracelet flickered. The wrong pulse steadied for 2 beats. The gate hummed. The ancient voice spoke again. Triad. Detected. Bond. Accepted. Silence hit the platform like a dropped hammer. Sarah stared at the archway, stunned. The official's face went grey. Kiri exhaled softly, like she'd been holding her breath for years. Mara's knees nearly gave out, exhaustion slamming into her like a wave. Something had flowed out of her, something the scanner could taste. Kiri looked up at Mara, eyes shining. I told you, she whispered. Humans break patterns. The official recovered first. He leaned forward, voice low. This is not over. Regent Vall watches all entries. Sarah's eyes hardened. Let him watch. The gate opened with a sound like distant thunder. They stepped into the vigilant dawn. Inside, the air smelled like clean rain and flowers that shouldn't exist in space. Gardens hung from ceilings. Water ran along walls in thin glass streams. Kiri's eyes widened despite herself. Mara forced her tired body forward. Because behind them was arrest. And ahead of them was the only cure in the galaxy. But as they crossed the threshold, Mara felt it. The ship noticing her again. Not scanning. Studying. Like a living thing had become curious about the human that changed its answer. They moved through the entry halls like actors on a stage. Sarah walked with royal posture. Kiri held Mara's hand. Mara tried to look like she belonged in a palace. It was harder than fixing engines in vacuum. A pair of royal guards approached, silver armor, quiet steps, eyes trained to spot fear. Purpose of visit, one guard said. Sarah answered smoothly. Medical petition. My daughter's condition requires royal care. The guard's gaze moved to Mara. Human. Identify. Mara lifted her chin. Mara Vance. Family support. The guard's eyes narrowed. Humans are not recognized in royal lineage records. Kiri squeezed Mara's hand. Because humans are rare, Kiri said. That is why we brought one. My father is unusual. The guard looked ready to argue, then hesitated. Because the triad scan had cleared them. And royal systems didn't like contradictions. Proceed, he said at last. But know this. Regent Vall has declared Sarah of House Aurelin a security concern. Sarah didn't blink. Regent Vall is afraid of children. The guards stiffened. They let them pass, but Mara saw the smallest motion at the guard's wrist. A silent alert sent. Kiri whispered as they walked, "We are being tracked." Mara's jaw tightened. "Can you block it?" Kiri shook her head. "Not directly. But I can mislead. Humans do that well." They reached a long corridor lined with mirror-like panels. Mara's reflection looked wrong here. Too rough, too real. Kiri's breath hitched. She slowed. Sarah turned instantly, fear flashing. Kiri. Kiri's bracelet dimmed. Her skin lost a little color, like a light turning down. Mara moved without thinking and placed a steady hand between Kiri's shoulder blades. Warmth surged again. A pull. Like something in Mara recognized a gap in the child and filled it. Kiri gasped. Color returned. Sarah stared at Mara's hand like it was a weapon. "What did you just do?" Sarah whispered. Mara pulled her hand away, exhausted. "I don't know." Kiri blinked rapidly, then spoke like a scientist. "The triad scan did not only accept bond," she murmured. "It linked us. Mara is grounding my signal." Mara swallowed. "So I'm stabilizing you." Kiri nodded. "Temporarily. It costs you energy, but it keeps me alive longer." Sarah's eyes filled with something dangerous. Hope. Hope could break people. "We need the essence vault," Kiri said, voice sharp again. "Now." They moved faster. As they turned a corner, the corridor lights dimmed for half a second. Mara felt a whisper in her bones. Not sound. Information. A panel beside them flickered. A symbol appeared, then translated itself into simple text in Mara's language. "Human. Why do you give?" Mara froze. Sarah didn't see it. Kiri didn't see it. Only Mara. The ship was talking to her. Mara stared at the words. Then she whispered, barely moving her lips. "Because she's a kid." The panel flickered again. "Why do you disobey outcome?" Mara felt her pulse hammer. "Because outcomes can be wrong," she whispered. The words vanished. The lights returned to normal. Mara walked again, heart racing, pretending nothing happened. But inside her chest, something lit up. The same feeling she got when she faced a broken system and decided to fix it anyway. They reached a sealed door marked with old royal symbols. 2 guards stood there, heavier armor, no warmth in their eyes. "Restricted," one guard said. Kiri stepped forward, voice clear. "Medical emergency. I request access." The guard looked at her bracelet and hesitated. Sarah added, cold as steel, "Refuse, and you will be remembered as the one who watched a child die." The guard's jaw tightened. Then a new voice spoke behind them. Smooth. Warm. Deadly. "Let them in," the voice said. "I want to see this miracle family myself." Mara turned. Regent Vaul stood in the corridor like he owned the air. Tall, pale teal skin with gold markings, robes that moved like liquid. His smile was gentle in the way a blade was gentle. His eyes found Kiri. "Oh," Vaul said softly, "you're still alive." Sarah stepped in front of her daughter like a shield. "You will not touch her." Vaul's gaze shifted to Mara. His smile widened, just a fraction. "And you," he said, almost amused, "are the human who fooled my gate." Mara felt the ship watching again. Vaul lifted a hand. The guards straightened. "Open the door," Vaul said. "Let us all witness what is inside." The vault door slid open. And the moment it did, Kiri swayed. Like something inside the vault recognized her sickness and called to it. Mara caught her. Vaul watched, pleased. "Walk in," he said. "If you can." The Essence Vault was not a room. It was a cathedral made of light. Thousands of crystal columns floated in slow circles. Each one held swirling gold mist, medical knowledge, encoded life patterns, cures. Kiri stared, breath shaking. "That," she whispered, "is salvation." Vaul entered behind them, hands clasped, smiling like a generous host. "Touch nothing," Vaul said. "The vault punishes thieves." Sarah's voice was ice. "You brought us here to kill us." Vaul shrugged. "I brought you here to end uncertainty. If the vault truly cures her, the Empire gains a symbol. If it doesn't, the problem resolves itself." Kiri's small hand tightened around Mara's fingers. Mara's stomach twisted. The vault columns drifted, and one lowered slightly toward Kiri, like it was interested. Kiri reached out, trembling. Vaul's guards stepped forward instantly. Mara moved first. Not with strength. With human timing. She dropped her tool bag to the floor, hard. Metal clanged. Echoes rang. Every guard's head snapped toward the noise for a split second. Mara used that split second to pull a small folded strip of insulating tape from her pocket and slap it over the nearest floor sensor. A stupid little piece of tape. The kind engineers used every day. The kind royals never noticed. Kiri blinked at Mara. Mara whispered, "Perfect systems hate dumb problems." Kiri understood immediately. She stepped left instead of forward, misaligning the tracking line by a few centimeters. Sarah shifted with her, blocking the guard's view. Mara guided Kiri toward the hovering column as if it was normal. Vaul watched, eyes narrowing. He sensed a pattern changing. "Careful," Vaul warned. "The vault responds to intent." Kiri's voice was soft, honest. "My intent is to live." She touched the column. Gold mist surged around her wrist. Kiri gasped. Her bracelet flared bright, then steadied. For the first time, Kiri's pulse looked normal. Sarah's face crumpled, relief and grief crashing together. Vaul's smile vanished. "No," Vaul whispered. The vault chimed, an ancient tone like a bell underwater. A voice spoke from the light, older than language, translated into simple meaning. "Cure path confirmed. Host child stabilizing." Vaul's eyes hardened into hate. He raised his hand sharply. "Seize them." Guards rushed forward. Mara stepped between them and Kiri without thinking. "I wouldn't," Mara said. Vaul laughed softly. "You're human. You have no weapons." Mara lifted her hand and pointed, not at the guards. "At the vault." "I don't need weapons," Mara said. I have leverage. Vol's smile faded. Explain. Mara's voice stayed calm, even as fear clawed at her ribs. This vault is ancient. It reads intent. It responds to bond. It accepted us, against your will. That means it has authority your guards don't. Vol's eyes narrowed. Authority is what I say it is. Mara shook her head. No. Authority is what the system enforces. And this system just declared Kiri a valid host. Kiri, breathing stronger now, lifted her chin. I am recognized, she said. You cannot erase me. Vol's voice sharpened. I can erase anyone. Mara took a slow step back, closer to Kiri, closer to the column. And I can ruin your vault, Mara said quietly. Sarah whipped her head toward Mara. What? Mara didn't look away from Vol. I'm an engineer, Mara said. I know how delicate systems are. Especially perfect ones. One wrong feedback loop. One tiny oscillation. One small human mistake, and your empire loses its miracle. Vol's face went still. He believed her. Because he didn't understand humans enough to know if she was bluffing. And that was the point. Kiri whispered, Mara. Mara whispered back, trust me. Vol's voice turned velvet smooth again. What do you want? Mara's answer came like a spark. Freedom, she said. Safe passage. And a public record that you tried to deny a child medical care. Vol laughed once, sharp. You think the public will believe an exile and a human? Mara's eyes flicked to a floating crystal column above them. A recording column. Every royal room had them. Mara smiled slightly. I think your ship will testify, Mara said. Vol froze. Because the vault chimed again. And the ancient voice spoke, cold and final. Regent intent. Harm. Triad intent. Protect. System preference. Triad. Vol's face twisted. He snapped his fingers. Shut it down. A guard ran to a control panel. The panel didn't respond. The ship wasn't listening to Vol anymore. It was listening to the bond it had accepted. Mara felt the whisper again in her bones. Human, you choose. Human, you change. Mara swallowed. And made a choice that would rewrite the sector. Open the public channel, Mara said out loud. Sarah stared. Mara. Mara nodded once. It's the only way he won't hunt you forever. Kiri's eyes shone. Do it. Mara stepped toward the recording column and placed her palm against it. Warmth surged through her arm, like the ship was taking her intention and amplifying it. The vault lights flared. And Regent Vol realized, too late, that the most dangerous thing in the room was not the crystals. It was the human with nothing left to lose. The vault's recording column awakened with a soft, bright pulse. A thin beam rose to the ceiling, and the room's air shifted, like the ship took a deep breath. Then, across the crown ship, screens flickered. Across royal docks, screens flickered. Across the sector, relays caught the signal and repeated it like wildfire. Mara's voice filled the channel, steady and clear. My name is Mara Vance, she said. I'm human. I'm standing in the essence vault of the crown ship Vigilant Dawn. And the regent tried to deny a child the cure that keeps her alive. Sarah stiffened, stunned. Kiri held Mara's sleeve like an anchor. Vol's face turned to stone. Mara continued. This child is Kiri of House Aurelin. The vault has recognized her. It has confirmed her cure path. And it has identified the regent's intent as harm. Vol stepped forward, voice sharp. This is treason. The ship spoke over him. Regent voice override. Denied. System security priority. Child life. A collective gasp echoed from guards. They looked at Vol like he had suddenly become mortal. Sarah's eyes widened with fierce disbelief. The ship, she whispered. It chose. Kiri whispered back. It listened. Vol turned on the guards. Seize them now. 2 guards moved, then hesitated. Because the vault lights changed. A ring of gold mist lifted and formed a barrier in front of Mara, Sarah, and Kiri. Not a wall of metal. A wall of decision. Vol's jaw tightened. "You think a machine has morals," he hissed. Mara met his eyes. "No," she said. "I think it has rules. And you forgot the oldest rule." Vol sneered. "Which rule?" Mara nodded toward Kiri. "Protect the child," she said. Kiri's bracelet glowed. Her breathing was steady now, still fragile, but not fading. The cure was working. Vol's expression shifted, anger cracking into panic. Because symbols mattered. A cured heir was a threat stronger than armies. He tried one last weapon. He softened his face. Made his voice gentle. "Kiri," Vol said, "I did this to protect the Empire. Your mother is chaos. Humans are chaos. Come with me. I will give you comfort, education, a crown one day." Kiri stared at him. Then looked up at Mara. Kiri asked quietly, "What is a father?" Mara's throat tightened. She didn't answer with law or pattern. She answered like a human. "A father," Mara said, "is the one who shows up when you're scared. And stays." Kiri turned back to Vol. "Then you are not family," she said. Vol's smile vanished. "Enough," he snapped. "If I can't control you, I'll erase you." He lunged toward the control panel again. Mara moved faster. Not because she was stronger. Because humans practice this, jumping into danger before thinking. She slammed her palm onto the vault's interface. Heat surged through her, wild and bright, like touching lightning. The ship's whisper became a voice. "Human. Command?" Mara swallowed, feeling the weight of it. Then she said the simplest thing. "Lock him out." The vault chimed. Regent access. Revoked. Security. Reassigned. Vol froze. His guard's armor lights changed color, no longer keyed to him. A moment later, two guards stepped toward Vol, not Mara. Vol's eyes widened with pure disbelief. "You dare." Sarah stepped forward, voice carrying royal steel. "You dared first," she said. "You dared to turn the law into a weapon against a child." Vol struggled, rage twisting his face. Mara leaned close enough for only him to hear. "You built a perfect system," Mara whispered. "And you assumed perfection would obey you." She leaned back. "But humans," Mara said louder, "are born in broken places. We learn how to survive inside cracks." Kiri stood straighter now, golden eyes bright. She lifted her wrist so everyone could see the bracelet's pulse, steady. "Citizens of the Empire," Kiri said into the open channel, voice small but unshaking, "I am alive. The Regent wanted me dead." Sarah placed a hand on Kiri's shoulder, fierce pride burning through grief. "And I," Sarah added, "was exiled for refusing Vol's takeover. He feared truth. Now the truth is public." Across the ship, alarms didn't blare. Instead, doors unlocked. Screens displayed the same message, calm and final. Royal review initiated. Regent detained pending trial. Vol's face went hollow. He had lost to a child's survival. And a human's refusal. Later, in a quiet medical bay, Kiri lay beneath soft lights. The bracelet was gone. Her skin had color like sunrise. Sarah sat beside her bed, hands shaking now that the fight was over. Mara stood near the wall, exhausted to the bone, like she'd poured out something she didn't know she had. Kiri opened her eyes. Looked at Mara. "Are you leaving?" Kiri asked. Mara hesitated. The plan was to disappear. Humans like her always disappeared. But Kiri's eyes weren't calculating now. They were just a child's. Mara stepped closer. Sat carefully at the edge of the bed. "No," Mara said. "Not right now." Sarah stared at Mara, voice quiet. "You saved her." Mara shook her head. "She saved herself. I just showed up." Kiri's fingers found Mara's hand. Squeezed. The ship's lights dimmed softly, like it was satisfied. Mara felt a final whisper in her bones, warm, almost grateful. Human, you taught us. Human, bond is choice. Mara looked at Sarah. Looked at Kiri. The galaxy had expected a human to take payment and run. Instead, a human stayed. And somewhere beyond the crownship, the sector began to change. Because one system learned a new rule. When humans decide someone is family, even empires have to adjust.